Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. We are here, Harry and Sally, the Harry and Sally Show. And I'm the learning difficulty expert from Canberra, and Sally is...
Hi, I'm a holistically fit specialist down in Melbourne. Sunny day today, Harry, 23 and sunny for the first day of May.
It is, but unfortunately it's gone and it's now getting cold and dark in here.
Winter woolies are on, I can see,
Pet. Definitely. So today we're going to talk about balance. And many of you may think balance is a trivial thing, but it's not. It's really important. And you know that from your work in the gym, Sal.
Absolutely. You know, as you age, your balance deteriorates. And so you're more prone to falls and fractures and that sort of thing. So particularly, balance is a key part in my workouts with clients, as long as strength training and cardio and all the other stuff. But balance is way up there, way up there.
And why is it so important for you?
Teaching the balance.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it goes with the coordination and your posture, your flexibility, everything. But the core stabilizing muscles from between your knees and up to your torso, getting that balance so that you can, rather than fall, readjust yourself or realign yourself. One of my favorite pieces, as all my clients know in the gym, is the Bosu. Have you seen the Bosu? It's a semicircle sort of disc thing, and it's like a balance board. And so it helps you activate all of those muscles in the middle section there, and stabilizing muscles, and get you back up there, so that if you're walking along and you start to fall, you can come back up. You know, walking stairs are a prime example of where people fall over. It's and as you age, you know, your hips and your joints go. It's awful when you lose your balance, and it's something that we need to be really aware of.
It is awful when you lose your balance. So I was just, and thinking about this topic before we came online together. I can think of 4 people really close to me. 2, my mother, my wife's mother, and 2 dear male friends who all had falls, and some of them were significant because once they'd had the fall, they lost confidence. So my maternal, my mother's mum used to walk up like a couple of 100 metres to see us at our place, to see the grandkids. One day she had a fall on the street on the pavement, and she was so mortified by that, she never did that walk again. We had to pick her up. My mum started having falls a couple of years ago, and she went downhill. She would have aged a couple of years with every fall. Wow. And she lost confidence, and net result of that is she's no longer living independently because she's not confident.
Wow.
So she's living with my sister. There was another guy who I used to actually go running through the bush with in Canberra my first year here after uni. So he was very athletic, a very competent academic. He went up on a roof and fell off and did a face plant head plant.
Oh, that's so dangerous. Is he all right?
He lost he lost a lot of brain power, got brain damage, and he never recovered. And then in the end, he went for a walk in the bush and just never came back.
Oh, Harry, goodness.
So falls can be really significant for older people. But, like I'm a young 67.
Yes, you are.
And I still go up and down ladders. And I measure the balance of all my clients. Most of my clients are young. 3, 5, 7, 11, and so on. I can outbalance most of them. So this is not something that everybody has a good endowment of.
No, exactly right.
And it's important because, outside the gym, in the classroom, at home, it's important because it's one of the pillars to allow you to read. You didn't know that.
Oh my goodness, no, you just blew me away with that fact. Get out.
So I'm going to show you something. This is one of my favourite little things.
Get out.
Will you have a look at these? Okay.
Yes.
So some idiot used the same sets of symbols many times in our language. And if I turn this upside down, what happens?
Oh, no, you got me.
What happens to the symbols? What do they do? Look at the PDBQ.
Yeah. And it's
What?
just, they're all back to front.
They've moved positions. They've done a little dance.
Yeah.
So if your balance system doesn't work properly,
Yeah.
even if you can hear the difference between the P and the D and the B and the Q,
Yeah.
you won't be able to resolve the difference in the symbol because it's your balance system you rely on to differentiate these symbols. So if we have a child, and I've not seen this written up, and I'm probably not the right person to do an academic study on it, but if we see a child who muddled up any of these sets of symbols, I can guarantee to you that the best way to resolve that is to improve the balance. Run them through a balance program.
That is amazing. I'm blown away about that. No, because, traditionally there's lots of different conditions that can affect your balance. And I was looking up some of them before, like diabetes, when you get that inadequate blood flow to the feet, inner ear conditions, because that clearly puts you out, and vertigo, migraines and dizziness and that sort of thing. And of course, when you get foot conditions or foot pains, like bunions and corns, they can put you off balance because you're not walking evenly.
Yeah.
Blood pressure, if your blood pressure's low, you can get dizzy and fainting and lose your balance. And what are some of the other ones?
Ear infections.
Yep, absolutely. Some medications, antidepressants, sedatives, antihistamines, you can lose your balance with that when you get out of whack. And, when you have neurological disorders, what else did I look up? MS, Parkinson's, stroke, they all can affect your balance and your muscle control.
A difficult birth or head trauma.
Yes, difficult birth, yeah, right. And but even eye diseases, I think that was the last one I was looking at, because you get this dizziness. Balance, it really is important in our life, but I'm still in shock about what you said about
so if we go back to I'll just get my book out.
Dr. Harry.
I haven't shown you this. This is my favourite book.
Oh, it's more show and tell.
This is my favourite book. Oh. This is the most expensive pop-up book that was ever made.
The Human Body.
Yeah, it's reversed. Is it reversed for you?
No, it's perfect.
No, okay.
Yep.
So was only produced for a short time. And if you look there, you can see
that's the inner ear?
3D, yeah. So this is the organ of hearing called cochlea. This is the organ of balance, the vestibular system. Now, they actually share the same fluid.
Right.
And they actually share the same cranial nerve to the brain, which is cranial nerve 8. So they are like twin sisters. So it's very unusual for me to assess a child with a listening issue, an auditory processing issue, and find they've got good balance, because often they've got poor balance. So kids are very good at disguising poor balance. So it'll be a bit like, he doesn't like team sports, or he's a late bike rider, things like that.
Yeah.
Some of them fall down the stairs, some of them walk into doorposts. Hang on, that's a reminder to tell me to go home, but we won't go home. So in terms of literacy, the three key systems are the ear, firstly, then the balance system, then the eye. And there are strong neurological connections between these systems. So you talked about the eye. So for instance, if you have a sudden loud noise, your eyes will automatically swivel to the source of the sound, without any conscious control. So the ear and the eye are connected. And of course, the eye and the balance is connected, because if you do a simple balance test for a child, you get them to stand on one leg. Can you balance? Then you get them to do something mental, like ask them to count down backwards from 50 out loud. Yeah. Some of them will fail that, some of them won't. But then if we ask them to shut their eyes and stand on one leg, many of them will fall over. And that's because they're using their eyes to balance, not the balance system.
Yeah, right.
And then if we ask them with their eyes shut, if they can balance, to count backwards from 50 out loud. If they can't do that, that tells you they're using their frontal cortex to balance. And they shouldn't be using that. They should be using their balance system.
Yeah, wow.
So if I ask you, as you're doing now, to listen to me and to sit up nice and straight as you do, if the balance tasks are the challenge, they become the cognitive tasks. And if I say, now, Sally, you're going to get a detention if I see you slouching again,
yes,
then you're going to be working your frontal cortex on the balance tasks. You're not going to have any space left for the stuff you're supposed to be learning or listening to.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So balance is really important in the classroom for kids. Yeah. It's also important for adults as we age.
Yeah, definitely. And I really notice it with the older clients, and they get so frustrated and so annoyed. And it's coming back to that patience and and keep practicing. We were saying before, if you don't move it, you lose it. So it's really something that we have to keep at, for sure.
And as you know from your gym work, it's trainable.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. As I was talking about the Bosu before, people are on it first up and then wobbling, and I give them a stick to hang on to. By the end, they're on one leg and doing amazing things with it, but it just takes a while, and I keep encouraging them, saying it is frustrating, but we'll get there. Just chip away at it, and it's huge differences in a short amount of time too, because balance is used with your posture and control. When you're doing your movements, you need that balance with it, particularly when you're doing heavy weights. Actually, that's what I was talking about when you were mentioning the confidence before. Today I was doing a really heavy bodybuilding workout with squats, and I was doing a PB, and I had a huge amount of weight on my back, and I was coming down, trying to have my form right, all that sort of stuff, and get down as deep as I could into the squat. And the fear sort of came in that because it was so heavy that I was going to go backwards. Now, I had my trainer with me. He came down with me, behind me, shadowing all the way down. It was fine. And when he wasn't there, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't get down to that depth because I had that fear of falling, and I didn't have the confidence within myself.
What was your weight? What was your PB?
Oh, no, I'm not disclosing. But it was very heavy, and a few F-bombs were let out, is all I can say. I got a few hurrahs in the gym.
So one of these sessions wouldn't be the same if I didn't give you some stats.
No, roll them on.
So if we look at over 65s, 1/3 of over 65s have at least one fall a year. So we're talking about a serious fall.
Whoa! Over what age? Was it 65?
Over 65. And falls are the leading cause of injury-related deaths in that age group.
Is that right?
Yeah. And particularly if you break a hip or something, you're probably going to die. So there was a large study came out of the US a couple of years ago. 1 in 20 children in the US have balance problems or dizziness problems. So 4% of 3 to 5, 7.5% of 15 to 17-year-olds have these issues, and nearly 20% of them are moderate to severe.
That's huge. That's huge.
And this study suggested the main risk factors are some of them you've mentioned. Low birth weight, headaches, ear infections are the top ones they mentioned. So that was published in the Journal of Pediatrics.
Wow.
So it's not just old people, it's young people.
Yeah, but that's quite scary.
And if you think about what it does to the old people, imagine what it would be like to live with that your whole life.
When you've got what was it, over the age of 65, 1 in 3 chance of having a major fall per year.
Yeah.
That's
at least one fall a year.
Yeah, and you've got all the other risk factors associated with that, and osteoporosis and longer healing time. And then, as you said, you've got that lack of confidence. So like you explaining with that story, I know my nan in Liverpool, she broke her hip and, never recovered.
Right.
And, and the pain and the discomfort, and the inability to be able to do stuff when you have a fall, like, being stuck in home or stuck in your room or stuck in bed.
Well, for my mum, who went outside her house and slipped on the concrete and did a face plant, and she looked like somebody, a robber had beaten her up. She was black and blue all over.
Terrible.
For her, it meant she was scared to go out to the garden.
Yeah, it's just awful, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's psychological effects.
Yeah.
No.
So my tips for balance are: check your balance. Don't take it for granted. If you can't stand on one leg with your eyes shut, get help. And then build your capacity, and that will build, take action. It'll build confidence, and it'll build capacity. Don't delay.
Yeah. Well, along those lines, I've written down a couple of things too. But standing on one leg, test yourself. See how your balance holds up. Like you mentioned, standing on one leg, and what about this one? My niece taught me this. If you stand on one leg and you start to wobble, if you hang onto your ear, it works. Yeah. And even on the Bosu, if you're hanging onto your ear, if you're balancing, it gives you some stability.
It's probably an acupressure point. Yeah.
Ah, right. What was it? Thank you, Dr. Harry.
And if I wasn't tethered like this, we could do a demo.
Oh, we might have to do one next time. And the other thing I was saying is walking in a straight line. It's I know they do that when you're testing your alcohol limits as well, but being able to, we have like a little balance board as well. Like a single
balance
one.
beam. Yeah,
balance beam. That's it. Yeah. And the other thing that I was saying is good to use is a Bosu, Duradisc, or a balance board, and it's really good, and it doesn't take that much time to master it.
It's incredible how quick kids build their balance like that.
Yeah, you just hold a broomstick or something like that until you get it, and then have the confidence, as you say, to let go. And
one of the other exercises I suggest for kids are to find a tree to pine log, which is a bit like your
balance beam.
Yeah. And walk along it heel to toe very slowly.
Yes, yeah. And that's hard, especially when they're rounded. The ones in the park.
Because the kids, the mums think they've got good balance because they can balance fast. But, of course, you have momentum, which just disguises the weakness.
So for adults, for example, when we're doing yoga and we do a tree pose and, to give it to make it harder, close your eyes. But not many people can balance in tree pose. Do you know tree pose where it's one leg and then the other one's up your leg a little bit? In the shape of a tree. Then to close your eyes, most people fall out. And is that relating to the ears that you were saying before?
Yeah, they're using their eyes to balance.
Very difficult.
So, just get them to stand on one leg any way they can with their eyes shut, and then when they do that, just make it more and more and more difficult, but build it small steps.
Small steps, indeed.
But they should be able to balance with their eyes shut, definitely.
Yeah, well, that's like the mountain pose where you're standing there with both feet flat to the ground, grounding in. And the sways are happening. You can see it in the room. Yeah, full on.
Yeah.
Full on.
And for some people, one foot will be easier than the other,
Definitely. I mean, broken toes, for example, I broke all 3 toes and 1 foot kickboxing, and I've had a lot of trouble balancing on that foot ever since.
Yeah.
Difficult. And that's what I was saying before with deformed feet or with bunions or corns. It can throw your balance out.
Yeah,
and
right.
What is it about a big toe? You need your big toe to balance.
You do, yeah.
So you can do without your other toes, but you can't do without your big toe.
I think that's right, yeah. That's why I've given up kickboxing, right?
It's a dangerous sport, darling. I love that. Oh, dear. Well, I think this is a very interesting topic, and it's been lovely to chat to you about this today. And
as always.
Yeah, it's awesome. I've never not done you, but, chatted with you at night time in the dark.
That's right.
I know, it's something different. Anyway, Harry, lovely to chat to you.
Yeah, and look, I love your sculpture behind you. I think it's so much better than the in tray.
A little bit of a warm-up. I've got all my crystals out now, getting the energy,
looking
the lamps
good.
all around me. Yeah,
looking good.
Well, and my money tree.
I've just got the audiometer as usual.
Oh, dear, Harry. All righty, darling. Well, we'll chat to you again soon.
For sure.
We'll see you next week. Thanks, babe. Bye.
Bye then. See you.